When people think of an important aspect of an NBA player's resume, they may think of the amount of championships they've won. Do they have any MVP awards? Any other type of award that they've won throughout their career? But another major component when looking at somebody else's resume is records they have set. Some of these records may be for more obscure stats, and some others, like LeBron's new scoring title, could have the chance of surviving the test of time forever, or at least a very long time until they're broken. So I thought that today it'd be very interesting for us to dive in and see which of these NBA records truly are unbreakable. How many records are there that no matter how long this league goes on, unless there's a major change to the format of the league, have no shot at ever being broken? They will stand cemented in NBA history forever. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I appreciate you guys. And comment below what you think are some records that you will never ever see be broken. Other than that, let's get into this video and see which records will never be topped. Starting off with probably the most infamous record in NBA history. Everybody knows this as the most unbreakable record, and it is Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. An absolutely unprecedented amount of points. And it simply was because he ran the league back then. The talent disparity between Wilt and his competition was so high that he could dominate any game, repeatedly score over and over again, fill the stat sheet, etc. In today's league, you see the occasional 70-point performance, say by Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell, but that only happens once every couple of seasons. Not even longer than that. And still, when you take that into account, they still need to have an additional 30 points, which is a very large margin, to tie that record. The reason? Well, it's just a more competitive league that we see today than back then. The skill level of players is higher, meaning that there's slightly better defense on these star players. Not to mention there's just more overall skill on the entire roster. So it's not like Donovan Mitchell is the only person on the team that can put up points. Other players will want to chip in, and they will, contributing the points to themselves, which does fill up the stat sheet, meaning less points that any other star player needs to score. This is just one of those older records that, due to its time, will forever be standing. And honestly, nobody's even going to get remotely close to breaking this record. Now, we can make a whole video just on unbreakable records that Wilt Chamberlain holds himself. Just to list off some other ones really quickly, I'm not going to go too in-depth with them because a lot of the reasons that these records are unbreakable are the same reasons I explained about the 100-point game, such as the talent disparity was higher. Wilt clearly had more height than everybody else, and he had much more of a load to carry. But to list some of these other unbreakable records that we will never see broken, Wilt holds the unbreakable record of averaging 50 points per game in the 1961-62 season. 50-point performances in today's NBA are marveled. So imagine someone doing that on a consistent basis. Not to mention, Wilt also has the 3 next highest point per game seasons. Michael Jordan averaged 37 points per game in 1986 and 87, which is the closest we've seen anybody since Wilt, and yet he still needed to average 13 more points per game. This obviously also means an unbreakable record for total points in a season, in that same season where Wilt scored 4,029 points, which is just simply unheard of in today's game. Wilt will also forever hold the record of most minutes played per game. 48.5 minutes per game. That is longer than the standard NBA regulation time. Wilt averages more minutes played per game than an actual game itself, which is insane to wrap your head around. But he was always on the court, and in today's league with load management and substitutions being much more heavy utilized than back then, there's no way that even the best player in the league gets put in for 48 minutes a game. And even that isn't enough to break his record. You have to hope for plenty of overtime games where the player also plays a large portion of those games. You could argue that Wilt's single game rebound record is even harder than his points record to break, as he has 55 rebounds in a single game on November 24th, 1960. More than the top 40 highest single rebound games before 1970. High rebound games to this extent are unheard of in today's age in the NBA. You minimize the surge to most rebounds in a game since 1970, it's Moses Malone with 37. So he still needs 18 more rebounds to reach Wilt's record. And like I said, that was in the 70s. If we look at today's era, the most rebounds by a single player since 2010 is Kevin Love with 31. Still 24 rebounds short from the record. Those high rebound games just aren't seen in a league today where there's more talent, substitutions, and less of a height disparity from one player to the others. That record is definitely not being broken ever. Another insane Wilt record that will never be broken is the most 50-point games in an NBA season, which is 30 in one single season. Wilt has a total of 118 50-point performances. And next up is Michael Jordan with 31, which is only one more 50-point performance than Wilt had in his single season. Absolutely insane. Another unbreakable record, and this record is actually shared by both Wilt and MJ, is most consecutive seasons leading league in points per game, and that's 7 seasons a row that they were the scoring champ. And there's just way too much talent in the league for one player to dominate for that large span. Also, with more injuries happen in this day and age than ever with the higher intensity of the game being played, chances are even if someone does somehow have that outer worldly scoring, they most likely will be injured for one of those seasons. And obviously, there's just really too many Wilt records to name, but just some others. Most career regular season 35-point games, 40, 50, 60. All of those are owned by Wilt, and all of them are completely unbreakable. Now, getting into these non-Wilt records. In my opinion, the Warriors' 73-9 season record, which is the best regular season record in NBA history, will never be broken. This might be a little bolder of a take, but just realize you have an 82-game season and you only lose 9. Things have to line up absolutely perfectly for your team to come close. As you may be noticing, the best records in these past NBA seasons have a lower win percentage than the best records that we see from middle of the 2010s era. Team skill is being dispersed better than ever. Injuries are causing super teams to not rack as many wins. All the constants that need to happen: a fully healthy team, a top 10 NBA player of all time, unprecedented shooting. I don't think we'll ever see all these situations line up perfectly once again for a team to break this record. You're saying a team is only going to lose 8 games out of 82? Another unbreakable record will be LeBron's scoring record. He currently has 38,652, and obviously this number is going to increase as well. His career is not even done, and he's still putting up points at a relatively high level. He does want to play with Bronny, and even though there have been rumors of him retiring, you know how LaDrama is. He likes to get the media all stirred up. He'll definitely play next season, and in my opinion, the next season after that, and possibly even another season. I don't see him retiring anytime soon, especially if he's playing at this pretty good level. That being said, no active player is even close besides Kevin Durant, who still needs 12,000 more points to reach this record. And that's if LeBron retired today. He's 12,000 behind, but you know that LeBron will continue to extend that scoring title. Either way, realistically, I don't see this record ever being broken. Another untouchable record is John Stockton's assist record. He has compiled 15,806 assists in his career. And in second place is Jason Kidd, who's pretty much 4,000 assists behind. John Stockton has a very comfortable lead on this record, and it's due to the fact of his longevity playing over 1,500 NBA games and averaging 10 assists per game over that time period. That longevity and consistency is unheard of as far as assists go, and it also helps that he had a world-class talent in Karl Malone on his team. Nobody is even remotely close to being on pace to break this record. LeBron's currently the active league leader with 10,420, but you're crazy if you think that somehow he's going to get a half of his assists for the remainder of his career. This record will never be broken. One final NBA record that I think is truly unbreakable is Bill Russell's 11 rings. Okay, so the greatest of all time, or at least in this moment, Michael Jordan, only has 6 rings despite his dominance. He needs double that to break Bill Russell's record. LeBron James, which some people also consider to be the GOAT, only has 4. That span of dominance will never be seen ever again in the NBA, especially with all the rules in place to keep teams balanced, all these new CBA regulations, and just the overflowing talent in the league we see so far, upsets being increasingly common, just all the additional factors, more injuries. There's no way a player is ever going to win 11 rings in this era. Teams will adapt. The league is just too skilled to let one player dominate that much, and that will definitely be a record set in stone till the end of time. And in my opinion, that is most of the main records that we see that will never be broken. Obviously, there's some other records that some people think will stand the test of time, such as Scott Skiles' 30 assists in a game and Steph Curry's 3-point record. I think those actually have a solid chance of being broken. I mean, just 5 years ago, Rondo put up 25 assists, so there's definitely a chance, especially with how Jokic has been playing, and many other players in the league, obviously, that someone could easily reach that 30 assist mark. That one is not too far-fetched, including Curry's 3-point record. Yes, Curry is a generational shooter, but we can clearly see the league talent increase fast. There will be another sharp shooter that has his form just locked up, automatic. And honestly, maybe even the next decade. Maybe not Curry's level, but maybe we see more longevity from him. Maybe he ends up playing more games. But either way, there will be another shooter on Curry's level at some point in the future. There's just too many kids who grow up and want to become a basketball player. Too much talent coming into the league, and the large influx of talent. Like I said, we will see a shooter at his level in the future that could easily break that record. I hope you guys did enjoy this concept of a video. It was really fun to make. Like I said, if you guys do enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment any opinions you have, which records you think are breakable, unbreakable, anything you disagreed with, video suggestions, put that all in the comment section. I love hearing your guys' thoughts. You guys are the best viewer base one could ask for, and I will see you guys in the next Heaps video.